Warren Buffett is well known for his skepticism toward financial forecasts, famously remarking that forecasts may tell you a great deal about the forecaster, but nothing about the future. This statement presents a paradox for investors. If predictions about markets and economies are unreliable, how can anyone make informed investment decisions? The puzzle lies at the heart of financial strategy, challenging the very foundation of how investments are typically approached. By questioning the value of forecasts, Buffett invites us to reconsider the role of expert opinions and market predictions. This section sets the stage for a deeper exploration into whether investing is possible or even sensible when the future remains so uncertain. At first glance, it seems logical to believe that every investment decision is, in essence, a prediction about what lies ahead. After all, choosing where to allocate resources often involves assumptions about future market movements or economic trends. However, this perspective contains a subtle intellectual trap. Not all investment choices are driven by explicit forecasts. Some are guided by principles like diversification, risk tolerance, or long-term strategy, which may not rely on specific predictions. By conflating all decisions with forecasting, we risk oversimplifying the nuanced motivations behind investment behavior. Recognizing this distinction helps us better understand the complexity of financial decision-making. In this video, we set out to unravel a well-known paradox that has puzzled investors for decades. Our aim is to go beyond the surface of the quote and expose the hidden trap it lays for those navigating today's financial markets. By examining its true implications, we'll reveal how this seemingly simple advice can lead to unexpected pitfalls. Through careful analysis, we hope to provide clarity and empower viewers to make more informed investment decisions. Ultimately, our goal is to shed light on the real challenges modern investors face and offer practical insights for overcoming them. Consider your own experiences with expert forecasts and the impact of financial media on your investment decisions. Have you ever acted on a prediction that seemed convincing at the time, only to see a different outcome unfold? Reflecting on these moments can reveal how media narratives and expert opinions shape our perceptions of risk and opportunity. By examining past decisions, we gain insight into our own biases and the influence of external information. This awareness can help us make more informed choices in the future, balancing expert advice with personal judgment and thorough research. Warren Buffett's warning about forecasters often refers to those who make bold predictions about markets, economies, or investments without sufficient evidence or accountability. These individuals, sometimes labeled as criminals in Buffett's metaphorical sense, are not necessarily lawbreakers, but rather people whose misleading forecasts can cause financial harm. The distinction is important because it highlights the difference between genuine analysis and reckless speculation. By identifying the forecaster as someone who profits from attention or influence rather than accuracy, Buffett urges investors to be cautious. Understanding who these forecasters are helps us recognize the risks of following unreliable advice. It also encourages a more critical approach to financial information, emphasizing the value of evidence-based decision-making. Warren Buffett's criticism is specifically directed at those who attempt to predict broad economic trends or time the market rather than at all forms of financial analysis. He distinguishes between macro forecasters and market timers, whose predictions often prove unreliable, and analysts who focus on understanding individual businesses. Buffett believes that careful, company-specific analysis can provide valuable insights, while trying to anticipate large-scale market movements is fraught with uncertainty. This distinction is important because it highlights his preference for grounded fundamental research over speculative forecasting. By clarifying this point, we see that Buffett's skepticism is not about analysis itself, but rather about the methods and assumptions behind certain types of predictions. Professional forecasters in the media play a significant role in shaping public expectations about economic trends, politics, and other major events. However, their predictions are often influenced by various incentives and biases. Many forecasters are motivated to make bold or attention-grabbing claims to attract viewers and increase their visibility. Additionally, they may face pressure from employers or sponsors to align their forecasts with certain narratives. Cognitive biases, such as overconfidence or herd mentality, can further distort their judgment. As a result, the accuracy of media forecasts is frequently compromised, making them less reliable than they might appear. Understanding these underlying factors helps explain why expert predictions should be approached with caution. Buffett's quote acts as a powerful filter for investors, helping them separate meaningful information from the constant stream of market noise. By focusing on long-term fundamentals rather than short-term fluctuations, investors can avoid being swayed by sensational headlines or fleeting trends. This approach reduces the risk of making impulsive decisions based on misinformation or emotional reactions. Instead, it encourages a disciplined mindset where attention is given only to factors that genuinely impact investment outcomes. Ultimately, Buffett's perspective helps investors stay grounded, protecting them from distractions that could undermine their financial goals. If investors choose to disregard all macro forecasters, their approach to decision-making shifts significantly. Instead of relying on predictions about interest rates, inflation, or economic growth, they may focus on factors within their control, such as company fundamentals, valuation, and long-term business prospects. This strategy emphasizes thorough research and a disciplined investment process, rather than attempting to time the market based on economic forecasts. By concentrating on individual assets and maintaining a diversified portfolio, investors can potentially reduce the impact of unpredictable macroeconomic events. Ultimately, this mindset encourages patience and resilience, trusting in the underlying strength of chosen investments rather than external predictions. The know-nothing fallacy occurs when investors mistake broad, unpredictable macroeconomic forecasting for the careful analysis needed in sound business decision-making. This confusion can result in a passive approach to investing, where individuals rely on vague predictions rather than concrete research. By focusing solely on large-scale economic trends, investors may overlook the critical details that drive individual company performance. As a result, their investment choices can become uninformed and lack strategic direction. Understanding this fallacy is essential for recognizing the importance of thorough business analysis over general economic speculation. Warren Buffett's investment philosophy centers on evaluating businesses for their lasting strengths and future potential, rather than attempting to predict short-term market movements. He carefully examines whether a company possesses durable competitive advantages, such as strong brand recognition or efficient operations, that can withstand changing economic conditions. Buffett's focus is always on the long-term prospects of a business, assessing how well it can grow and generate value over time. This disciplined approach allows him to make informed forecasts about a company's future, rather than relying on speculation about market trends. By prioritizing enduring qualities and sustainable growth, Buffett distinguishes himself from investors who chase fleeting market opportunities. The guru swapping fallacy refers to the tendency of investors to replace traditional Wall Street experts with social media forecasters, believing that a change in source will yield better results. However, this shift often perpetuates the same underlying trap: reliance on external predictions rather than critical analysis or personal research. Both groups, whether seasoned professionals or online influencers, can be subject to biases, overconfidence, and market hype. The core issue remains unchanged: placing trust in supposed authorities rather than developing independent judgment. This cycle can lead to repeated disappointment and poor decision-making, as investors chase the latest trend or personality. Ultimately, the fallacy lies not in who is giving the advice, but in the uncritical acceptance of it. Misinterpretations in financial analysis can have far-reaching consequences. Investors may experience confusion when market signals are misunderstood, leading to uncertainty about the best course of action. This uncertainty can result in paralysis, where individuals hesitate to make decisions, fearing potential losses. Furthermore, these misinterpretations can introduce new forms of risk, as investors might inadvertently expose themselves to volatile or unfavorable market conditions. Ultimately, the ripple effects of such errors can undermine confidence and stability in investment strategies. This brings us back to a fundamental question. If market forecasts are unreliable, what is the best approach to investing? Rather than attempting to predict short-term movements, many experts recommend focusing on long-term strategies. Diversification across asset classes, maintaining a disciplined investment plan, and regularly reviewing your portfolio can help manage risk and enhance returns. By prioritizing consistency and patience over speculation, investors may be better positioned to achieve their financial goals. Ultimately, ignoring forecasts means relying on sound principles rather than predictions. Beyond market trends and expert opinions, the most formidable trap for investors often lies within themselves. Internal forecasts, shaped by personal expectations and assumptions, can cloud judgment and lead to overconfidence. Emotional biases, such as fear, greed, or the tendency to follow the crowd, may drive impulsive decisions that stray from rational analysis. These internal influences can be more deceptive and damaging than any external prediction. Recognizing and managing these psychological factors is essential for making sound investment choices and avoiding costly mistakes. Self-driven forecasts, which rely heavily on personal intuition or untested methods, often lack the rigorous analysis needed for sound investment decisions. Without a foundation in data or established strategies, these predictions can be influenced by emotions, biases, or wishful thinking. This approach tends to blur the line between investing and gambling, as decisions are made based on speculation rather than evidence. Investors may find themselves chasing trends or acting on hunches, increasing the risk of significant losses. In contrast, rational investing is grounded in research, risk management, and a disciplined process. By avoiding self-driven forecasts, individuals can make more informed choices and reduce the likelihood of impulsive, high-risk behavior. The proposed solution centers on a disciplined approach to investment analysis. Rather than trying to forecast unpredictable market trends or economic shifts, it emphasizes the importance of examining tangible business fundamentals. This means evaluating factors such as a company's financial health, management quality, competitive advantages, and long-term growth prospects. By focusing on what can be known and measured, investors can make more informed decisions and reduce reliance on speculation. This strategy aims to build confidence in investment choices, even during periods of market uncertainty. Ultimately, prioritizing knowable fundamentals provides a more stable foundation for achieving consistent results. The margin of safety is a principle that emphasizes caution in business decision-making. It involves making conservative forecasts and estimates to account for the inherent uncertainties in the market. By deliberately underestimating potential revenues or overestimating costs, businesses create a buffer that helps protect against unexpected setbacks. This approach reduces the risk of financial loss if actual outcomes differ from projections. The margin of safety serves as a safeguard, ensuring that a business remains resilient even when faced with unforeseen challenges. Ultimately, it encourages prudent planning and helps maintain stability in an unpredictable environment. A disciplined investment process is essential for long-term success. Rather than relying on predictions or market speculation, investors benefit from a framework grounded in thorough analysis and careful valuation. This approach helps to minimize emotional decision-making and reduces the influence of short-term market fluctuations. By focusing on the underlying fundamentals of assets, investors can make informed choices that align with their financial goals. Ultimately, a systematic process provides consistency and clarity, ensuring that each investment decision is backed by objective reasoning rather than guesswork. A disciplined investment system offers a sense of stability and reassurance, even in the midst of market fluctuations. By following a well-defined strategy, investors can avoid the stress of constantly monitoring headlines or reacting to short-term price movements. This approach minimizes impulsive decisions and helps maintain focus on long-term goals. As a result, investors experience greater peace of mind, knowing their actions are guided by a thoughtful plan rather than emotion. The freedom from daily market noise allows for a more relaxed and confident investment journey. Rather than relying on predictions about the future, consider adopting a repeatable checklist for decision-making. This approach emphasizes humility, recognizing that no one can foresee every outcome or control all variables. By following a consistent process, you reduce the influence of bias and guesswork. Checklists offer reliability, helping you focus on what you can control and ensuring important steps are never overlooked. Over time, this method can lead to better results and fewer regrets, as decisions are grounded in proven routines rather than uncertain forecasts. As we wrap up, consider the many forecasts you've encountered and how often they are set aside in favor of more grounded decisions. Reflecting on these predictions can help us recognize the value of staying focused on safety and rational investing. If there are topics you'd like to explore in the future, your suggestions are always welcome. Together, we can build a community dedicated to thoughtful financial choices and long-term stability. Thank you for being part of this journey toward smarter investing.